I was
I
saying.
don't.
All right, take two. During divorce and even after divorce, it can be really hard to get along with your ex. I know that if you're listening to this, you're thinking, yeah, exactly. I know it was for me. I have a pretty decent relationship with my ex. Oh, it's been 17 years, I would hope so. But some people never really get there. But there's one thing that I would highly recommend, regardless of how you feel about your ex, and that is you have to really try to maintain a good co-parenting relationship and have good, healthy communication for your kids. And there's people listening who are probably thinking, well, my kids are grown, they're adults. Believe me, they still care. I don't even care if they're 50. They still want their parents to be civil to each other, and it makes them extremely uncomfortable when parents are mean to each other, even parents who are cold to each other. That really bothers kids, no matter how old the kids are. And today I want to talk about tips to improving co-parenting communication. Sorry. Today I want to talk about 4 tips to improving co-parenting communication. And I have a great guest for this. Her name is Rebecca Para. Rebecca is a divorce attorney, a mediator, and a judicial education coordinator for Our Family Wizard. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Jackie. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's always nice to have you. Actually, we've recorded one podcast together, but it was a pretty long time ago. So it's so nice to see you again. You just give such wonderful advice.
Well, thank you. It's truly my pleasure and honor to be with you again. It's always so fun.
So I want to tell my listeners, Rebecca, who has been an attorney, how many years,
Oh
Rebecca?
my gosh, I don't even know. I guess it's been about, Lord, over 15, I think. I don't
Over
even,
15. Okay, so
yeah.
do you agree with me that there are people who just really can't stand their exes and have such a hard time, but do you agree with me that co-parenting is just so important for the kids, but also for the people?
Absolutely, Jackie. I mean, yes, it's good for the kids. It's good for the mental health of the parents. And I think yeah, I think even as you said, I think that's an excellent point. When kids are little, great, important, but as they get older, that doesn't mean they need any less. I mean, they still want parents that can get along and communicate effectively. So yeah, I think it's a challenge, but it's doable if they have a plan.
And that's what we're going to talk about. So, we're going to talk about 4 tips to improving co-parenting communication. But I want to go back and say one other thing about the adult children. You know, everybody in this world, I'm sure, I can say this hands down without having to say, well, there's an exception. We all want our kids to grow up emotionally healthy,
Mhm.
secure, strong, being emotionally healthy so that they can have good relationships in their lives. And one way to do that is to have a good co-parenting communication, a good co-parenting relationship and good communication skills with your ex. Believe me when I tell you this makes a huge difference. It's a game changer in the way your kids will grow up and have their own relationships. So if you're listening to this, that's what's in it for you. All right. So let's start with the first tip to improving co-parenting communication. So the first one was share about your kids. And what does that actually mean?
I think, you're co-parenting. I mean, it might be difficult. You might not want to have an ongoing relationship with this person, but in terms of the kids, communicate, give updates. Did they have a doctor appointment, a big honor ceremony? Communicate about the kids. I mean, without, of course, rehashing the past. Like, don't dredge up old arguments. Keep it simple. give updates. It just tends to build trust and kind of bring the tensions down a little when they're able to share really important moments, especially.
Now, the reason people don't share about their kids, I think, being someone who went through a divorce and was bitter and angry at the beginning, is because, first of all, you're like, well, he didn't bother to show up to the honor ceremony, so I'm not going to tell him about it. Bad idea.
Yeah.
Because if you tell your ex about the honor ceremony, when the kids see your ex, he'll be able to say, hey, I heard you had a really good honor ceremony and I'm really proud of you. That's good for your kids, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And secondly, people don't want to talk. They don't even want to talk to their ex. So they don't want to share anything because they're like, I don't want to even talk to him. Well, guess what? Rebecca is a judicial education coordinator for Our Family Wizard. Hey, guess what? You don't have to talk if you have Our Family Wizard. So, Rebecca, tell me how they could use Our Family Wizard to share about the kids.
Well, there are so many different tools they can use. I mean, I think just off the top of my head, thinking of the journal, they can share pictures. It's a safe space where you're not engaged on social media, because I think most people will say that's not a good plan, at least initially. Not always. It can vary, as you said, every case is different, but it's a safe space to share pictures, moments. So that's a great tool. Another is the info bank. Load some information, or do you have school records, any medical records? It just makes parents feel and have equal access to the children's information.
Okay, so sorry, I just spaced out because I was, I was
It's
looking at something out. We can edit that part.
no, it's all good.
Okay. You're listening to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilosoff, and I'm your host. And today we are talking about it's just too early in the morning.
Oh my,
Okay. All right. I'm going to back up. Please edit that out. Thank you so much, Rob. Okay. You're listening to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilosoff, and I'm your host. And today I'm here with Rebecca Para, divorce attorney, mediator, and judicial education coordinator for Our Family Wizard. And I want to just mention that Our Family Wizard is the leading app for more peaceful co-parenting. I'm telling you, I'm a huge fan of this app. It offers controlled communication, accountable co-parenting, on the record documentation, transparency between homes, and so many powerful features that have, sorry, and so many powerful features that will fit your family's needs. We are talking, Rebecca and I, about 4 tips to improving co-parenting communication. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we have 3 other tips. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Divorced Girl Smiling podcast. My name is Jackie Pilosoff, and I'm your host. Are you having a hard time co-parenting with your ex? Are you thinking to yourself, why bother? Are you thinking to yourself, why bother? He's such a jerk. Well, we want to help you and we want to do what's best for you and best for your kids. So, with my guest, we are talking about 4 tips to improving co-parenting communication. My guest is Rebecca Para. She's a divorce attorney, a mediator, and a judicial education coordinator for Our Family Wizard. All right, Rebecca, number 2, keep each other updated. And this is different from sharing about the kids. So sharing about the kids is like, hey, so-and-so had a really good day today. You know, let's say the kid has to take medication. He was really good with taking his meds. You know, he had a great soccer practice, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Keeping each other updated is different. So tell me about that. Why is that even more important?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I mean, as kids get older, it even gets more complex. They get involved in more, items at school, maybe sports, band, whatever it might be. And I think when parents aren't on the same page about important details, even clothing size, vital details, the communication can spiral and it can go in a worse place, and it doesn't necessarily need to. I think if parents keep each other updated, on school items, medical appointments. That's so critical because whether the other parent goes or not, it really is irrelevant. It's truly that they know, they're aware, and as you said in the last item, it's that they can say then to the child, like, "Oh, how did your doctor? How did your sports physical?" I think it's just critical to keep things from going down a negative spiral, especially on those critical items like medical and school.
And I want my listeners to know that Rebecca and I understand. You have so much resentment for your ex, so much anger. Maybe he cheated. Maybe he, gambled all your money away. Listen, we understand that you are extremely angry. We're not excusing your ex's behavior. We're not taking your ex's side. We're not saying you shouldn't be angry. But we really want to stress how important it is. And we know it's hard. I know I've been through a divorce. It is really hard. But when you put your kids first in this regard, you are doing long-term beneficial things for your kids. You are helping them grow up to be more secure, more stable, have more confidence because they had this couple behind them, mom and dad together, not just parents that were split and they had to piecemeal each parent of what they had together. We're talking about being united, and it's so hard to be united with somebody who you're so pissed at. I get it. But if you can really try to think of the kids, you will be so much better off. And Rebecca, let's touch on how that can benefit the people getting divorced, not just the kids.
Well, I think, it gives the parents, and maybe one parent has traditionally been the one doing everything. But you know what? Give the other parent, and you're going from maybe one household to two, maybe they'll rise to the occasion. I don't know, but I think as you said, and I can go back, reiterate and support what you said, it's gonna benefit the kids. The
Right.
conflict.
But what I want to tell my listeners is it's going to
Mhm.
benefit you also. Because
Oh, yeah.
when you put the kids first, you know what happens? You start to have this self-love because you're thinking to
Mhm.
yourself, I put the kids first. I did the right thing. I'm a good parent. I'm doing what's
Yeah.
best for my kids. That will lift you up and make you feel like such a better person. You'll like yourself more and you're going to attract better, healthier people to yourself because you're going to be in this good mind space without all this toxicity.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I am not a mental health professional. I know you have excellent people on your podcast, so I encourage them to find those episodes and listen. But I'm sure there's some level also of being able to get that closure when you're able to kind of say, look, I've been the better person. You can do what you do, but I'm going to be the better person. And that probably, I would imagine, allows people to also move on. Um,
Absolutely. Totally lets you move on. And also, you realize what you can control and what you can't. You can't
Absolutely.
control if your ex isn't doing anything that we're saying, you can still keep him updated. You can still tell him stories about your kids and do all this stuff. And if he's not reciprocating, that's his problem. You are doing the right thing, and that's all you can control. And
Absolutely.
I want to give another plug. And I want to tell my listeners, I'm not sitting here trying to sell you on our family wizard. I'm just simply saying it is the best tool to use if you want to communicate with your ex without having to pick up the phone and have a conversation. You can email through the app and everything is recorded. So lawyers, judges, everyone's going to see that you made this effort to tell your kids exactly what's going, or I'm sorry, to tell your ex exactly what's going on. And I think you can send videos, right, Rebecca, to you.
Yes, we have calling capabilities similar to a FaceTime, which can be unrecorded or recorded. And the recorded, again, even if it's just you taking the high road and they're a jerk, it's going to show. I mean, it's going to come right through. So, if you do find yourself back at court, lawyers, judges, they can access this. And look, guess what? If nothing else, you look like the person you're being, and they will shine through as maybe not the nice person that they're being. So yeah, I call it basically a co-parenting ecosystem. They can do everything within the app, which is so cool. So yeah, and it's all documented and recorded. So yeah.
And another feature I love is that, let's say your ex is giving you child support, and
Mhm.
he's saying, like mine used to say to me, like, where's all the money going? What, I mean, I just gave you a check. Oh, I hope you're enjoying all the money. If I had had our family wizard, my ex would have seen, because I could have put in every single expense, and he would
Mhm.
have seen that not only was the child support all for the kids, it wasn't even enough. I was using
Yes.
more money of personal savings. And I think that if my ex would have seen the numbers, he wouldn't have been so resentful about giving me the money every month.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see, I mean, whenever I pull child support guide or run child support guidelines, it's like I stress kids are not free from food to clothing to activities. I mean, it's so expensive raising a child these days. And yeah, if they use the expense tool within our family wizard, it's going to be clear. Orthodontia, dentist, school supplies. It's so expensive.
Things come up that you don't even realize. I
Yeah.
remember this one time I had to go buy my kids a calculator, and it was like $95. And
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh.
wait, what?
Yeah, like those calculus ones. It gets so
Yes.
expensive.
Yes. All right, let's move on to another co-parenting tip. Number three is listen to one another. This is big
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
listening is a huge thing for any communication with anyone. Why is it so important in co-parenting?
This is, I think, probably the most challenging one too, because good grief, people probably say things that you're like, oh my gosh. But I think this really shines through to me when I mediate. Sometimes people just want to be heard. And sometimes to step back and listen, but it's so powerful and it can really bring tensions from here down to here. So I think listening is so important. And that's really challenging because, again, you might hate this person. They might have done really horrible things to break up the family, but it's so important. And I think even if you disagree, let them finish and kind of sit back and ruminate. And sometimes I think it's easier to use a tool and let the listening be through, the messaging feature on the app. So it gives you time when you read a message to stop, reflect, and then think about it. So I think that can be really helpful.
I love that. And I have a tip for the listeners. So I'm the kind of person when I'm talking, I used to just talk over someone, not
Mhm.
let them finish because I vehemently disagreed with what they were saying. So now I listen to exactly what they're saying. I listen, I let them finish. And in my mind, I think, I disagree, I disagree, I disagree. And I just keep saying that because then you're saying it inside your head instead of to that person. And then you won't go crazy. And then when they're finished, you can say, respectfully, I have to disagree with you. Here's kind of what I'm thinking. But at
Yeah.
least if you let them finish, they're going to feel like they were heard, like you said, Rebecca, and the conversation's just going to go so much better.
Yeah, when you cut people, I see this a lot in mediation. When people cut each other, it just does nothing. It does nothing positive. I think just letting the person finish. And as you said, mentally, I disagree. Say whatever you want in your head. Like this person, even sometimes like maybe take personal notes in a journal, like write it down, like jerk.
Yes.
I
You can have
disagree.
a
This is
notepad
terrible.
saying, you're an idiot. That's the
Yeah.
worst idea I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's so bad for the kids. You're clueless. You're never
Yeah.
around. Whatever you want to say. You're right,
Yeah.
Rebecca. But if you write it down on a pad of paper, you have it there or in your head. But please let him or her finish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, last tip. Think before communicating. Well, this is a big one because if things slip out, it could really result in negativity, more resentment, harder to co-parent, worse for the kids. Tell me about that.
Well, I think stepping back, thinking before responding, and actually OFW is a really awesome tool for this. So if parents are messaging each other, we have something called a tone meter. And what it is basically we call it an emotional spell check. If I type out a message saying, "Hey, you jerk, I hate you," it's gonna flag it. the other parent is not going to see that, but it allows the person to reflect like, geez, I didn't mean to sound aggressive. Let me rewrite this. And just reflect before sending that message.
Isn't the technology amazing? I
Truly
mean, I
is.
wonder how they did it, but that's so great because it keeps you in check. And we know that the whole goal of Our Family Wizard is to help people through divorce, help you get a better divorce outcome, help you during the divorce, and help you after the divorce. So amazing. I can't believe there's technology like that.
I know. And honestly, I think the way people communicate these days, we could all use a little. I know me, like everybody can, like sometimes things will come off in text or whatever, and you don't mean it. So I think it just lets people breathe, reframe, and it is amazing. Technology is incredible.
Well, even in business, I know that sometimes I'll get emails and I'll be like, huh?
Yeah.
Wonder if she was just like in a really pissy mood, or
Yes.
is it me? Like you
Yes.
just don't even know, and you really have to think. And another tip is if you're really, really angry about something, maybe type the message and then just don't send it yet. Just wait. Wait an hour even. Wait till the next morning when you're not so heated about what you're responding to. And you'll see your response will be so much better because it will be less emotional and more businesslike. And let's be honest, Rebecca, raising kids when you're divorced is a business. And you two are
Oh,
the business owners, and it can't be personal.
no, absolutely. And I love that perspective. And I agree. If you sleep on it, reread it, you're probably gonna wake up and be like, okay, I can maybe say this different. And I think too, it also allows you, if you're dredging up the past, just not a good idea. Just move forward, reflect on it. Yeah, it is, and yeah, like a business, keep it professional.
Well, I was just going to say that in closing, that you wrote in your article, co-parenting communication skills are all built by maintaining patience, trying not to get emotional during conversations, and avoiding bringing up the past or anything else that is causing you resentment. And then, most importantly, thinking of the betterment of the children. I love it, Rebecca. Thank you so much for taking time to be on the show.
Oh, Jackie, thank you for having me. It's so fun and it's great to see you. And I love this opportunity. So keep doing
And
great.
if you guys, my listeners, liked what you heard and you want more tips, you want to read articles, or you want to investigate more about Our Family Wizard, just visit ourfamilywizard.com. And if you want to listen to more podcasts or find trusted, vetted divorce professionals, or read articles on my site or sign up for my free consult, come see me at divorcedgirlsmiling.com. Thank you so much for listening, everyone, and we'll talk to you real soon.